Fulham then with the victory, beating Spurs by 2-1. Don, where do we even start on Spurs? What can we say new that hasn't been said already?
3 clean sheets in 41.
Minute.
So I guess
like
it's
Shaka's
not
record
all
back in
on
the day.
Thomas. Well, I was thinking of Shaka actually when Vicario was getting booed, and I was thinking, I'm sure Shaka's endured that at the chicken run at West Ham once or twice.
Wow.
That was harsh on the goalkeeper. That was very harsh. I mean, I come away from the game thinking, right, how many Spurs players could I give credit for today? And I was thinking 3. Van de Ven, without a doubt, was easily their man of the match. Colomani up front, and maybe Pedro Porro for his delivery. Apart from that, honestly, I couldn't lean on anyone. I couldn't lean on the shape. I couldn't lean on any industry, any tempo in the first 45 minutes. Fulham should have been 3 or 4-0 up. And Harry Wilson's goal was, I was like, wow, that's one of the best goals I've ever seen. But to Shaka's point, why is no defenders in Danso or another get on the line when Vicario makes a mistake? And it took them to half-time for them to have a good go. And they probably got a rocket off Thomas Frank at half-time. Then second half, they were so much better. But 2-0 down at half-time, you ain't got a chance of coming back and getting something from the game, I'm afraid, in the Premier League.
What's Thomas Frank doing wrong, Don?
It's hard, Dan, because I honestly think he's a very, very good manager, and I think he needs time. The team that I look at, I think they're young. I think, take away from today, when I've seen them with Colomani and Tell and Xavi Simons in the same team, and the likes of Gray, Bergvall, they're very young. At the same time, if he wants to go experience in Palhinha or Bentancur, then there's not a lot of legs in that midfield. So I think he needs signings. I think he needs 1 or 2 in that midfield to provide a little bit of bite. But you're looking at a side, I mean, the home form's wretched. I mean, you know, you can lean on some away teams in the Premier League. Newcastle, for one, before today's win, and their away form's been awful. But normally, a team in the Premier League has really good home records. Spurs is awful.
The thing for me, right, and I'm a little bit torn as to how much blame Thomas Frank has to shoulder here. When you look at Spurs' lineup, when you look at who they have to come off the bench, great names, but everybody's bang average. Whether Don's being very kind to Colomani today, I didn't see. I thought Van de Ven was good. Outside of that, I'm not sure. You look at the starting 11. How many of outside of Van de Ven, how many of the others get into any other Premier League, top 6 Premier League team? I'm not sure that there's a single one.
Yeah, but I get that point, Shaq. But you're against Fulham today.
Yeah.
You're not. You know, most of these players, in theory, could play for Fulham, could start that team.
Well, should be able to.
So the quality of players are out there. They're just clearly not being coached.
Yeah, you're against Fulham, and again in Thomas Frank's defence, first goal is a deflection. The second goal, don't ask me.
Shaq, come on.
I'm offering. This is my defence of Thomas Frank, right? First goal is a deflection. Second goal, I have no idea what Vicario is doing. And from there, you're looking at your front men, Colomani, Richarlison. You bring Tell off the bench. You bring Xavi Simons off the bench. Bang average. They give you absolutely nothing.
Obviously, Thomas Frank were involved in during the summer.
Well, first of all, the Tell signing was an odd one because he was signed before Frank was announced as manager. So I don't know who gave that the green light, in all honesty. Xavi Simons, listen.
There's a reason that no one else wanted him.
Absolutely, there's a reason no one else wanted him. Kudus is an exciting, wide player, but he scored 4 goals for West Ham last year. Kudus is not a goal scorer. So you look at Spurs' attack, including Richarlison, who I've never been convinced about, even dating back to his Everton days, and you just wonder, where is that consistent goal scorer going to come from? Whether it's Solanke, who's always out injured, even when he's fit, he's not sparked this team in any kind of manner. So I'm a little bit sympathetic because I think this is a Spurs team that is made up of passengers.
Are you soft like Shaka, Don?
No, I get where he's coming from, Dan, and you're right to ask the question, but I think we're all sort of scratching our heads thinking, like, what is the problem? He might just need a real refresh of that squad. And as Shaka said, there might be some players that are not good enough to wear that Tottenham shirt. So maybe Thomas Frank's got to be a bit harsher on his players. It'll take him a little bit of time. He's only been through the door 5 minutes. He'll need a window to say, right, I've seen them now for a couple of months. I'm going to make changes either in Jan. I might tweak 1 or 2 things in Jan. But come the summer, because he still has to be in charge in the summer, it's not all on his watch. So in the summer, he's probably going to have to make some brave decisions and say to the board and the hierarchy, right, you need to get rid of about 5 or 6 injuries. They're you know, they've been shot to bits of injuries, but that can be an excuse when you put out the team that they put out today and in the last couple of weeks where they're losing games for fun. But I genuinely think when I look at this Spurs squad like Shaka, it needs about 5 or 6 gone and 4 or 5, 6 top players to come in.